So, Benджamina Libeta was a researcher, neuroscientist. So you have an experimental subject, a person, and they're given a task. First of all, they're wired up so you can tell what's going on in their brain, right? And they're told to press a button, or maybe to move their wrist, or do something, move their wrist, at a time of their choosing, whenever they want to. And meanwhile, they're looking at this thing that looks like a clock, except it goes faster than a clock. And they're to tell the researcher when they made the decision to press the button. Okay, so the researcher can detect three things: the electrical activity in the brain, through the wires, the verbal report of when the subject decided to make the motion, and then of course they can detect the motion itself. Okay, so it turns out that prior research establishes that shortly before a voluntary act is done, such as flexing one's wrist at the time of one's own choosing, electrical activity in the brain arises.
Yes.
Before you even do anything, there's electrical activity arises. That's called readiness potential.
Okay.
And it occurs in the brain up to 800 milliseconds before the actual act.
The act of pushing button was happened.
Yes.
Yeah. Still didn't understand with the moment they push the button is the moment of decision, isn't it?
Apparently not. They decide and then they push the button.
And then
It's like when they become conscious that they're going to push the button. Now, you would think it's at the same time, but apparently not. It's different.
Okay, and what is the result of this experiment?
The result is the readiness potential starts before they realize that they've decided to push the button. And then they push the button.
So,
First, the readiness potential, the subject hasn't decided yet. Then the subject decides. Then they push the button. So the standard interpretation of the results is that something in the brain caused the person to decide, and then they push the button. And something in the brain causes you to decide, so you have no free will. That's it in a nutshell.
and it happened with all the subjects.
Yes. It's
How many subjects was taken?
Many trials. I don't know how
Like
many.
hundreds, thousands,
Yeah.
different subjects.
Different people, different times.